Gender's my jam. It has been ever since I've been about 5 years old. And it's not because I was raised by a feminist. In fact, I kind of came at this through the back door, and I'll tell you how. I grew up surrounded by cornfields, cows, and conservative churches. I mean, for miles down the street, corn, cows, and conservative churches. And I was taught at a really young age what was possible or impossible for me based on my sex assignment at birth. The box on that birth certificate, it was like that box, that binary was the rule. It was the goal. It was the lane that we were all supposed to stay in. And, I saw it playing out all around me, except I was raised by a single mom. So those rules didn't apply to my family. And I could see the discrepancies. And I started to wonder, like, if these rules don't actually apply to my family, do they apply to me? Do they apply to my friends? I had a lot of questions. And so it really became my passion to think about gender as a lens through which I see the world in terms of like justice and equity. And I went on to get my PhD in women's and gender studies. And it was a really intellectual pursuit. I was passionate about it, and I studied gender all over the world. I studied it as a global human rights issue. I studied it specifically around gender-based violence. And I spent almost 20 years in academia teaching, researching, and, analyzing. I loved it. Things changed for me about 4 years ago when I was getting my coaching certification. And I'll never forget, it was a Wednesday morning at about 6 a.m. I was on a call with my mentor, Shruti Santhala, and she was based in India, and I'm based in the United States in Chicago, so it was the best time for us. And we'd been going over my videos from some of my coaching, and she said, Michelle, I'd like to turn to some areas where I feel like you can improve. And this was the moment. This was the moment for me. And I said, oh, well, I'd better get out a big piece of paper then. To which Shruti replied, that's just your inner patriarchy talking. And she moved on. She moved on after like dropping this huge disruptive bomb in my life. My brain, it was like, the feeling when the gears of your brain just stop, and yet they want to go 100 miles an hour. I felt like I must have had smoke coming out of my, ears, or I'm surprised I wasn't even like, I was still standing. And I was like, at first, mad. I was pissed. I was defensive. And I said, this is all happening inside of myself. I didn't say any of this out loud. I'm like, Shruti, who do you think you are? I have a PhD in this stuff. Yeah. Patriarchy is like the air we all breathe, except for me. Right? And yet the truth of it stuck with me. And that was the moment that I began to understand how the patriarchy lives and operates inside of me. And it's the moment that I decided that I don't want to always smash the patriarchy. I still want to smash it. I still have the t-shirts, and I love to wear them. But when I'm thinking about what's inside of me and those limiting beliefs, I want to disrupt it, because I want to disrupt the shame that goes along with it. Because you see, we didn't come up with these ideas. We inherited them, and we carry them with us. So no, we're not broken, and we don't need to be fixed. So gender is still my jam in a lot of ways, and specifically, it's a way for me to practice self-love right alongside social justice. Thanks.